Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey. We are a vegan, whole foods cooking channel. We do a lot of starch solution, a lot of oil-free cooking. If you like what you hear, please hit that like button, show us some love, and please think about subscribing and becoming part of the Plant-Based Dads family. I want to take a minute to thank our Patreons and our PayPal supporters. Our financial supporters are the part of the team that help us put the show together and get the message out to the public. If you've ever seen the show and if you're in the Facebook group and thought, how can I help? How can I be part of this? That's how you can help. You can become a financial supporter. There's a link below for Patreon and PayPal. We could really use your help, and we'd love for you to be part of the team. All right, so today I'm going to show you how I make ramen in a jar. It's a concept of like salad in a jar, mason jar salad, but instead it's just ramen or soup in a jar. I love it because I just take all my soup fixings in my little jar and I take it to work, and then when it's time to eat, 5 minutes before, I just boil some water in the microwave, pour it into the little soup in a jar, and let it sit for 5 minutes, and as soon as the lunch bell rings, I'm ready to eat. This is a really simple recipe. It's just made with stuff that you already have in your pantry, so you don't need anything out of the ordinary. I really think you're gonna love it. Let's get to the food. We're starting off with some mason jars. This recipe is made for 8-ounce mason jars. So if you're using bigger jars, add more seasonings. We're gonna start out with 1/2 teaspoon of veggie broth. You want something that's really water soluble and that will blend together well with water when it's just stirred. I use this one right here. Better Than Bouillon might be a little too thick for this because that normally needs to be whisked. Next, you want some type of salty seasoning. We're using vegan fish sauce for this, but you can use soy sauce or miso paste. Again, it's gotta be something that dissolves very quickly. Next, we're adding 1/2 cup of mixed veggies, and we're starting those mixed veggies with some shaved carrots. And in boiling water, they'll soften very fast. Now we're adding some frozen corn right out of the bag from Costco. Trying to keep all my veggies to 1/2 cup. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit in each little jar here. Next, again, frozen vegetables. We've got frozen peas this time, again from Costco. Doesn't look like I'm putting a lot in, but I'm trying to keep my vegetables to 1/2 cup combined. Now I'm dropping in some bok choy that I sliced up. I just made little ribbons out of them, and I'm throwing them in each little jar here. This already looks absolutely beautiful. And I hate bean sprouts, but Tim likes them, so here you go. Next, we're adding noodles. I'm adding a dry rice noodle. 1 cup of noodles, because rice noodles cook in a minute or 2 in boiling water. If you're using anything that takes longer to cook than a minute or 2, you're gonna have to cook the noodles first. And for my protein, I'm using chickpeas. You can put anything in here. You can use tofu, you can use whatever you can think of, any type of bean. So I'm adding about 1/4 cup of chickpeas to each little jar. Now for my aromatics, I'm using some scallions chopped up over here, and it's about 1 tablespoon of aromatics. And then just for fun, I threw in a little bit of cilantro in each one of these also. I mean, you can never have too much fragrance, right? And now I'm just putting the caps on, and these are ready to go in the fridge. So all week, I'll have soups ready to go, and I'll just need to add hot water. Aren't these really fun looking? I absolutely love these, and it's such a great addition to meal prep. All right, it's time for the assembly. Let's eat. All right, so I've just taken the cover off, and I'm just gonna fill this up with boiling water. So let me do that, and this is just water from the teapot. That's it. And I'm gonna just put the cover on here and just let it sit. I'm not gonna tighten or anything, I'm just gonna let it sit. And I'm gonna leave that for about 5 minutes. I usually, when I take these to work, I usually set an alarm for 5 minutes before lunch starts and do this part. And then when I'm ready to eat lunch, when the bell rings, it's ready to go. So let's give that 5 minutes and see what happens. All right, so as I'm waiting for this to do its thing, I noticed that I'm hearing a lot of this one type of bird flying through the patio cover. Normally I hear birds all over the place, but they're not normally inside, like as if they're going through the patio cover, like right through here and then out the other side. I thought about this last week, but I went out there just now to check, and as you can see right here, there's a little mother bird inside her nest in my patio cover, and the daddy bird, or I guess, is bringing little twigs over to make the nest bigger and bigger. This is not something I wanted to happen, because now there's going to be bird poop everywhere. I've got to move that table out of the way, and they're going to poop all over the place. But what do I do? Like, I don't think there's anything I can do about it now. Like, I can't disturb the nest, right? Or shoo them out and disturb the nest and pull it out. I'm sure she's either sitting on eggs or she's preparing for them. So, boy, sometimes being a vegan, it comes with some really tough decisions. At this point, I'm pretty sure I just have to leave it there and let it run its course until they're done with it. So that's going to be a lot of cleanup at the end. I don't know. All right, well, I hope none of the eggs fall onto the ground because that would be horrible. All right, now back to my eggless soup. All right, so this has been steeping for about 7 or 8 minutes. The trick to this is that it's really hot because it's boiling water. So ideally, you have a big enough jar where you put some water in, then maybe add an ice cube or two. I, of course, did not do that because I just filled it right to the top. So you got to stir this up because that broth is at the bottom, right? So I kind of take my, that is hot. I'll grab a rag over here. All right, so I kind of just hold this and I mix it all up. I don't want like the broth at the bottom every time I take a bite from when I'm at the bottom and then have just hot water at the top. I want it all mixed up. So, and right now I can kind of see that the clear water on the top is now getting kind of soup base looking, right? A little more like yellowy browny looking. It's one of the reasons I'm using that squeeze broth, because if you use better than bouillon in this, that really needs to be whisked when it's in hot water. Otherwise, it doesn't really mix correctly. So really you want to use like a powder or a liquidy bouillon for this as your soup base. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now it's made, you can see, I mean, look how good this looks. I'm gonna eat it right out of here, but I'm also it's made to do that, but I'm gonna dump it in this bowl too, because I want you to see how much soup is in here. There's a lot of soup in here. All right, let's give this a shot and see what we got. I'm gonna start with chopsticks, but I'll probably have to move to a spoon. Now, I did use dry noodles. If you're not using dry noodles, if you're using something else like spaghetti or something, you can do that. You gotta cook them first. These noodles cook in boiling water in 1 minute, so I was able to use these. Holy smoke. That's good. Wow. Holy smoke. Look at all that. That's going to be delicious. That's absolutely delicious. All right, so I'm going to pour it in this bowl. It's like a cereal bowl. I want you to see how much soup is in here. When you look at this and go, well, I'm going to need to eat more than that. That's not enough to fill me up. It's a lot. All right, so look at this. That's an entire bowl of soup right there, right? I mean, there's a lot there. So that's a whole meal right there. It's also nicer like this because I can get like the chickpeas and the peas and all that stuff in one shot. Oh, it smells delicious. Wow, so good. Now, for a jar of that size that we just used right here, this is more than a cup. I would say this is probably 12 ounces, a cup and a half. So this is really only meant, this recipe is only meant for a cup of water. So it may taste a little watered down. You could probably put 1.5 times the size broth that we used, and increase some of your other components to account for the spices and the seasonings and all that. But this is a nice simple recipe. And it's really a nice addition to the weekly meal prep. These will last all week, and they have. All right, that's our video for today. Easy ramen jars plus a bird's nest in the patio cover. Hit that like button. Show us some love. What's not to like? If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Click that bell to get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Tuesday. And leave a comment below. Have you done mason jar soups or ramen jars? If you're doing them, what are you putting in them? What kind of seasonings are you putting in them? Are you putting tofu in? I mean, I like tofu, but you kind of have to cook it first to put it in there, and then it gets all waterlogged. So I think that chickpeas are just a really good option. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.